Hi, I'm Amy Satori, a twin flame and intuitive spiritual counselor assisting in raising the vibration of our planet. I am able to scan your energy field for emotional blockages and talk to your organs using Qigong energy healing. I can also help you make decisions, talk to your pets, guides, deceased loved ones, and your family or friends' higher selves. I can help you navigate your relationships and answer pressing questions in your life by talking with the unseen world. I am not a doctor, psychologist, or fortune teller. This is for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken seriously whatsoever. Having also been enlightened for 6 months years ago, I have a feel for oneness with God and use these skills I've developed to translate the images, feelings, impressions, and messages I'm given while tuning into you and your situation. You can ask me anything by calling 256-291-1191 any Sunday starting at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Follow me at thesatorishow.podbean.com, find me on Instagram, or order a reading at amysatori.com today. So sit back and enjoy this episode of The Satori Show. Thank you for listening to The Satori Show, my friend. The show has now reached 4,000 downloads. To thank you guys, I'm offering 10% off any service for the month of October. Just go to amysatori.com, click on Book Now, select your service from the drop-down menu, put the promo code in the form you'll fill out, pay the full price, then I will reimburse you 10%. Thank you so much for listening, you guys, and sharing the show with your friends. The promo code that I'm speaking of is VIP10. Okay. Remember a couple weeks ago when I intuited a soothing rain happening, then a blessing? Well, I unexpectedly got to house sit, and it rained all week, and that's kind of unheard of over here. It was such a blessing to have the place to myself and do some soul searching and reflecting. It was a beautiful time. Many others reported rain during this time as well and went through a similar process. And if it's raining for you, change is just around the corner, wherever you may live. Also, after asking for Chamuel's help last week, I did hear back that my luggage was found in Chicago and was on its way back to me. Thank you, Chamuel. Back when I'd lost my friend at the Dublin airport, a nice security guard offered to help me find her. He wasn't able to help, but we exchanged emails, and he asked me to let him know what happened because he was perplexed. I let him know that I had found her, and then weeks later it dawned on me I had a connection to the Dublin airport where my bag was last due, so I emailed him with all my luggage and flight information. He went out to the baggage claim there and found it, that it had made its way to Chicago, and I was able to track it from there, and it just arrived a few days ago, which I posted on Instagram. So happy to see my friend back. So it is good to make friends wherever you go. On to updates for this week. The masculines are already beginning their new journey like a foal, taking its first shaky steps. They're stepping into their power more and more and are no longer taking any BS. It's time to get out pent-up emotions and liberate themselves and make choices for themselves now. They're done being everything to everyone, so they're settling too, in some ways. It is settling to set your boundaries like never before. People might even be wondering what's happening to them or what's happened to them. They're branching out in their new direction with determination and certainty, although occasionally scratching their heads. Is this real? Am I really doing this? Is this too good to be true? You bet I am, and I've never felt so alive. I know this is the direction for me, and I've got to go see about a girl now. I talked to a Divine Masculine this weekend, and what he said, and the way that he said it, I will never forget. For the first time in my life, I feel like a real man. This is where they're at, you guys. So beautiful. The Divine Masculines are getting the strength, and the Seven of Wands, too. Bravo. The strength is realizing your deepest inner, gentlest strength that resides within you, and kind of having the, I don't even know the word, except to just like a resignation. Like, kind of reminds me of Gandhi and the kind of strength he had. It's like just this inner truth, this inner knowing, and this unstoppability. And the Seven of Wands is like being willing to defend what you feel is right and what you feel is best for you. and fighting other people's opinions off to do what you feel is best. So it can be defensiveness that could involve being defensive as well, but the cards that are usually surrounding the card are so positive, and so they feel so masculine. They feel so powerful that it's not, I don't even think they're needing to be defensive. They're just certain and resolved. So beautiful. The Divine Feminines have gone through an emotional and wonky time and have been having lots of crazy and healing dreams. Many have surrendered their aspirations of being with their masculines and are walking away to find inner peace. And their masculines are feeling it. They are simplifying their lives, taking care of loose ends, and putting their nose to the grindstone, getting focused on their life's mission. I even did some serious fall spring cleaning. These sexual secret energies that are coming up in social media are there to bring awareness and healing to sexuality and create space for more of a sacred sexuality to reemerge from Jesus' time. It is not to fight and complain, you guys. It's to heal the situation and to bring awareness to it so that we can then transform it into what it was truly meant to be from the beginning. We are completing karmic cycles, so if in the past you were the one leaving your partner hanging, now is your chance to balance the energy by handling it better than either of you ever have before, to bring closure and healing, and so you won't have to keep trading places lifetime after lifetime. You'll just make peace with this role completely, so embrace this, whichever role you're playing. If you need to get some pent-up feelings out, write a letter or an email, but don't mail it. Just get it out and burn it if you need to afterwards. It's been proven in hundreds of studies that people with a higher emotional intelligence, EQ, are more successful in life than those with a higher intelligence, an IQ. The twin flame journey has the capability of making you both super successful in life as a direct result of the growth that's caused by being inspired by each other to get over your stuff. The separation period is your chance to prove to yourself what you're made of, but you've got to do the work on yourself. Twin flames are the badasses. They're willing to look crazy for love. They endure all kinds of hardship only to bounce back stronger every time. People call them ridiculous. They believe anyway. Anyone who's made a difference went through ridicule first. They faced opposition only to deepen in their truth and authenticity, all in the name of love, with their counterpart as their inspiration. They're today's warriors and warrioresses fighting for truth, honor, integrity, and happiness. They are the dreamers, the manifestors, the risk takers. So be proud. Cute movie to watch about choosing a soulmate or a twin flame is Lucky 7. If you haven't seen it, it might be hard to find. It happened to come with a movie that I bought. What was the other one called? They came as a double feature. I don't remember. It was about a pizza guy. A pizza guy, and it's a really crazy story. But I don't remember that. But it came with Lucky 7. So if you get a chance to see that, it's a really great movie with some really great, beautiful, beautiful scenery filmed out of, I believe it was Washington State, which is where I'm from. So I want you guys to try something on for size for a moment. And this is for the feminines. I'm speaking to the feminines here. And as I read this, take this on as if it's your own. If it resonates, congratulations. If it scares you, you're not ready for union, and you need to love yourself more first. So here we go. I am a twin flame, and I have a counterpart. So what? It doesn't mean we have to be together. I am so blessed, open, receptive, and healed. I know I am only drawing in beauty into my life. Therefore, if I have an incredible connection with someone else, I will no longer sit around waiting. I am ready for somebody amazing to be in my life now. I will always have this amazing connection with my twin, and who knows what the future might bring, but I welcome healthy, happy love now, with or without him. I start with loving me in all ways without limit or condition. I have no expectation to have my twin in my life whatsoever. I have cultivated my own happiness whether I never see or talk to him again, whether he shows up or disappears, whether he's nasty and rude. I don't care, because nothing he does can possibly shake how I feel about me. He is free to do as he pleases, as am I. My number one priority is me. So sit with that for a moment. See how you feel about that. You might have to listen to that again. But you want to get to that place of just complete letting go. It just creates space for anything to happen, for miracles to happen, for, whatever resonates with you at this time can happen. Like, this is the best space you can possibly be in, is completely surrendered in the moment and embracing what's actually happening in your life right now and making the best of it and being happy. Overall, develop confidence in and listen to your own intuition above anything else. Your angels and guides will have your back and help you navigate your way safely to the other shore, which is your new life awaiting. I also want to talk about the Tower moment. The Tower moment in the Tarot is basically, people translate it differently. It's this picture of a building and people falling out of it pretty much, and it looks like, it kind of looks like what happened on 9/11. Unfortunately, it's kind of a tragic picture, but it means that you're being basically shaken out of your comfort zone, and you are being placed where you need to be placed. Now, this could have to do with work, relationships, any area of your life, but it creates a lot of kind of chaos and drama, or it's like when you lose your job or when somebody breaks up with you unexpectedly. It means there's no longer any procrastinating. You have to do this now, whatever that is. It's like you don't have a choice in the matter. It forces your hand. But what's awesome about the Tower, and the reason I'm even mentioning it right now is because it's coming up so much in so many different spreads for both the masculines and the feminines, is that it's basically all by God's hand. It is designed to bring you into a better and happier life. It is designed to get you back on track. It is designed to make you more authentic. It is supposed to align you with your purpose better. And so as much as it'll be easy on you if you just let go, like on a roller coaster, just put your hands up in the air and say, "Whee! I lost my job. I lost my relationship." It's like if you can just free fall in that moment of the Tower energy, then you'll be doing really well, and you'll just fall right where you need to be. Especially the more present you can be, the better. If you resist it and you fight it and you hold on to the side of the Tower as it's falling, it's gonna hurt. Think about if you jump out the window quicker versus if you hold on to it while the walls are starting to crumble and fall all around you. It can crush you. So try not to hold on when the Tower is coming into your life. Try to let go as best you can and trust that the universe has your back. I was just involved in a very, very chaotic, confusing whirlwind of events in the last 24 hours that were shocking and revealing and unbelievably. I have never seen such an upheaval happen. Maybe, I've been through a lot of stuff. A lot of tragic moments and trauma, but no, this was like I didn't get real attached to it though. I really was observing it and just really I was getting involved in some of the drama that was going on. I was giving my input and trying to keep a level head and all of that, but I really it was kind of cool because I saw the contrast between who I am now and who I used to be when these types of things would happen, and it ended very, very well. I got to tell you, it ended really, really well. It was beautiful. I think people have learned a lot from the experience. And there have been a few actual Tower moments in the last 24 hours. A few. So, like I said earlier, wonky time. Lots of crazy stuff happening. Lots of reports I've never heard before. Lots of things happening that weren't anticipated or I wouldn't have anticipated. So very, very interesting. So my best advice as you're going through the Tower again is just to be present. That's where you are most vulnerable, but it's also where you're in your most power and where you're in your highest power. And it's because Somebody used a quote one time. I don't remember who said this, but it's almost like when you stay in that God source energy in the present moment, holding God's hand virtually, it's like you've lost all aspect of time and space. You're completely consumed by the here and now, completely at peace, completely surrendered, and it's as if the whole world conspires to help you. So whatever you are trying to manifest, whatever you're trying to have happen, whatever end result you want, if you are coming from that vulnerable and loving, peaceful state, then you are going to manifest that, and rather quickly. And especially right now, with the state of the world as it is, in the vibrational state that we're being brought to at this time, we are evolving quickly and we are manifesting like crazy. So it's very exciting. Watch your thoughts when you go through anything that might seem scary. Just immediately tell yourself, this is in support of me. And remember my exercise, thank you, God, for my misery. You can immediately take out a piece of paper and spare yourself hours and hours of anguish of running around, letting your brain run and run and run and run. And just start writing down, thank you, God, that my life is falling apart. And then you say, here, I'm going to list the benefits and advantages as to why that's a really excellent thing that's happening right now. And then you just start listing everything. You say, well, I can create from scratch. I can do whatever I want. I can go wherever I want. I can, it's like, I was talking to this one gal in a reading this weekend, and we were talking about like embracing all the aspects of yourself. I said, you should just go to a different city for the day and somewhere where nobody would recognize you and just choose to be somebody completely different and see how that feels. Like be an actress for the day. And I said, don't you ever look at other people who are loud and obnoxious and they dress crazy and they do all this stuff that you would never do. And maybe they're like super assertive or, something that's kind of the opposite of you. I said, don't you ever think of doing that? And don't you ever think like, gosh, man, I wish I could like pop off on somebody like that or cut them off or, it's like, and I know, there are people out there going, well, you shouldn't cut people off, but it's not like that. It's like when you accept all the different aspects of yourself, you actually aren't needing or wanting to do it anymore. So that's where I'm coming from. But it's like you liberate yourself when you allow yourself to be whatever you want to be. So I told this gal, you should go to a different city and just be whoever you want to be. Just pretend you're somebody totally different. And that way it can take you out of your shyness, or it can take you out of, whatever block that is. It's basically like going to a drama class and just being, playing the part, and just go put on those shoes for a little bit and see if you can maybe voice yourself some more, feel more confident, dress different, try on a different style, try a different lifestyle. If you're poor, go to a rich town and dress like it. Dress the part, act the part. If you're really rich, go to a poor part of town and act that part. See what that feels like. Go sit in a shelter. Go get served some food like you're, like you don't have any money. But try all these different, try dipping your toe in many, many different aspects of reality to just try it all on for size, and kind of it'll like erase judgment of all those different contrasts. So it's a really healthy thing to experiment with. Should you try that out sometime? I also wanted to announce that our one and only TD is going to, the one he's been on the show probably a good 3-4 times. He is always, or not always, but I don't know for how long, but his number always comes up in the prompt, and he's always listening, and he's always asking to be put back on hold. So I just learned that when he calls, unless I've asked him to come on the show specifically, I just know to just kind of let him sit in the prompt and listen. And it's really a cool thing, and it just kind of dawned on me. He listens to the show every week. He contributes. He does all this, and I've asked him once because he's gotten a couple readings. I said, "What? Why do you listen all the time?" I mean, it's really cool. I love it. But why do you listen all the time, and why do you listen live and whatnot? And he's like, "Well, I'm not really doing anything on Sunday nights, and I just like hanging out listening." And he usually plays guitar and just kind of listens in the background. And he says, "I'm just listening just in case." And I'm like, just in case, huh? And so it felt kind of protective to me. And I thought, that's really cool. I've got like this virtual bodyguard who's listening in and kind of like looking out for me. And then it dawned on me, wait a minute. As long as he's listening in, he may as well, help out. And I thought, I haven't had a call screener for a while, and that would be really cool to have, to be able to know who's on the line, what they need, or, whether somebody has an urgent situation they need to get in front of someone else, or and there's any number of things that could be beneficial for. But I asked him if he'd want to be the call screener. I said, hour again, what the heck, man? Is there like somebody here that's like an invisible person who's doing the show with me or something? Because whoever that is, I don't see him around. There's invisible bodies here. So anyway, yeah, he's agreed to be the call screener now, and he's going to be trained by Matt, probably coming up this next week. And so that shall be delightful to have him on board. So welcome, TD, to the show. Yay, and thank you so much for helping out. And of course, anytime you don't want to do it anymore, just let me know. That'll be fine. You might have better things to do later, especially when you come into union, so that'll be awesome. And don't worry about, having to be call screener then, If anybody else wants to be backup for TD, let me know. That'd be awesome. Okay, so I got a private message. And she says, "Hi, Amy. I was thinking of sharing this video on your forum to get some other thoughts from twins on it. However, I wasn't sure if I'd be stepping on any toes, so I'm sharing it here. I'm curious to know your thoughts, and maybe you could discuss some of them on your Sunday show. My twin had major narcissistic tendencies, and being in the relationship brought up a mirror again to my need to continue to do codependency work. I'm stronger for it. However, even though cards and other things say my twin is coming back and will be happy, there's a part of me that's so much stronger now and does not want someone who still has narcissistic tendencies, is self-centered, and will be cruel. I would rather be alone or move on, and I find myself feeling strong enough to walk away from his obsessing and fantasizing and other behaviors I think are not healthy. Is this part of the twin flame journey too, or is this me choosing another path just to feel good and keep myself? Would really love to hear your thoughts." I have not watched that video, but I do have an opinion that I could share about that. I just realized my phone was not on airplane mode, so I switched it over for a second. Okay. So in regards to the narcissistic behavior, a lot of twin flames actually have had kind of a rugged background. They've been players. They've been users to an extent. They've lied. They know how to distance themselves pretty darn well and have pretty high walls up, some of them. However, I always say if somebody is abusive, they're probably a false twin flame, because I've seen that too. And those are the psychopaths or sociopaths. If this person is being abusive in any way, verbally abusive, physically abusive, if they're really putting you down and really flat out being mean to you, I mean, some of them do that to an extent to try to push you away a little bit because they feel undeserving. There can be a little bit of that during the separation phase usually. But when you go into union and actually start to go into a relationship with a twin, there should be a cooperative effort happening. There should be reasoning. There should be encouraging. There should be support. Otherwise, it's either premature or a false twin flame, I feel. If it's premature, what's going to happen is it's going to be like it'll be codependent. It'll feel like, if only you would do this different, or, they're just trying to change each other. They'll be doing things like that, or be too clingy or too needy or something like that will be going on. So, but yeah, here's how I look at it. And I thought of this analogy, and I know it's a little warped because we're talking about family in comparison to a lover, but it's a really great analogy, I think. All right, so when you go to get into union with your twin, or when you find out you have a twin flame even, or you are a twin flame or whatever, if you haven't met your person yet, but it's like you've always known that you've been adopted or you were adopted, and finally getting to find out who your dad is or who your mom is. So you're like all excited, oh my gosh, I know who my dad is finally. And then you go and you find out the name of your dad, right? And you find out the address of your dad, and you arrive on the doorstep, and you're like already, this is usually the feminine, already, okay, Dad, knock, knock, knock. He opens the door, and you lay it on him. Guess what? I'm your daughter, your long lost daughter. And so your dad could be ready, or he could not be ready. And usually, of course, in the beginning stages, they are just not ready. But as things evolve, and as you get to know your dad, and he pushes you away and says, I'm not ready to have a daughter in my life. I wasn't anticipating this. I didn't even know I had a daughter. I got to let this settle in. The dad will go through all these different phases and stuff and do a lot of changing and even growing up, perhaps. But if that dad pushes you away, doesn't want you, rejects you, says mean things to you, says, I could care less if I have a daughter, I really don't want anything to do with you, that's his prerogative. And do you want that dad in your life? No. You want somebody in your life who's like, okay, sits with it a minute, really, takes a good look at it. How does this affect my life? What does this mean? And then usually the dad steps up and says, wow, I have a daughter. This is kind of, wow, what does this mean? And make some positive changes if we're comparing it, to this journey. But then all of a sudden it's like dad comes to Thanksgiving sometime, and it's like you open the door and he's got like a lot of food, and he's got an open heart, and he's like, I'm really sorry I pushed you away. I love you. You're my daughter, and I really want to create a family. And that's when you let him in. If you do. Now, by the time you let your dad in your life, you might already have a family. You might have something else going on. So then you'll have to think about, does the dad fit into the family dynamic? Of course he would. I mean, he'd have a place in there. But I'm just saying, if the dad shows up on the doorstep drunk, stumbly, and ridiculous, then you're going to be like, Dad, no, I want a relationship with you, but you're not in this way. No, you gotta go make some changes in your life. You gotta take some pride in yourself. You gotta respect yourself. So it's kind of like that. Anyway, I like that analogy, but it's I hope that helps. And I never if I hear any kind of abuse is going on, immediately I just think, oh, that's a false. And then you have to pass the test of being able to figure out that that's your false and get away from it, and have enough pride in yourself and enough respect for yourself and enough love for yourself to say, screw this. I do not like how I'm being treated. I'm out. And then you got to get out of there. And I just helped somebody through this recently. So, and now she's dating lots of really great guys. And so, in comparison, she's like, what was I doing? She went back in his house to go get some of her things, and she thought she was going to be nauseous, and her stomach was tied up in knots, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'd gotten used to being frightened of this guy. Like, I was really wasn't comfortable being around him. And here I dated him for so long. So anyway, we have some callers on the line, so I'm going to get to some of you guys right now. Hey, who is this? You don't always have to tell me who you are, by the way. But welcome to the show, whoever this is.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi. So this is I'll call myself Betty.
Betty.
But I think I came into the show just a few minutes late, so I am the one who sent you a video, and I think you were just addressing it.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
I was.
Okay.
So tell me more information about that situation if you want.
Sure.
Or do you have a question about what I was saying or whatever? And by the way, I do know who you are.
Yeah. No.
I know your voice.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
That makes, like, what you said does make sense.
Uh-huh.
And I think that, like, so I was with my twin for a while. We were in a relationship. And then we broke up. And it took me a while to realize that I wasn't really being treated the way I should have been treated. And as I've, like, healed in the time of separation, I'm like, there's no way I want to go back to that. And I've just seen more and more clearly, like, how it kind of ate away at who I was. And so the more time I've spent by myself, I've really healed, and I've really been like, wow, I can't believe, like, I felt so bad. Yeah, bad during that
you've done
time.
incredible.
Yeah, so I feel like super strong right now, and even when he was in my life, like, he didn't, he had some of the narcissistic tendencies because everyone in the community loved him. Everyone thought he was great, but then he would treat me poorly and not let anyone see that. And he would be in a bad mood. He would take things out on me and then, like, sort of say, if you weren't this way, I wouldn't have to take my bad mood out on you, and I'm just like, wow, that's narcissistic,
Yeah. Wow.
And I see my part in being like, I wanted his approval. I thought he was so, amazing and knowledgeable, and kind of giving him the, rather than having my compass be inside myself, I kind of started to give that over to him. And, and so, yeah, so just now that it's been a year, I can just see so clearly that, him treating me badly was part of his own illness, like his own, like, narcissism is like an illness, and so I've had readings, and I felt since we separated that we would come back together, and that he would change and all this stuff. But now I've just hit a point where I'm like, there's no way I want to lose myself again. There's no way I want to go back, and even, like, financially, he took me down, he owed me money at the end, and I'm like, I want a man who's going to contribute to my life and support my life and not drain it, not like I'm hooking myself up to a drain,
Right.
So,
yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. So I guess as a lot of those light bulbs are going off, I'm like, is this part of the twin flame process that the female gets really strong in and of herself and she changes? And, I can't imagine him coming back differently. I can't imagine him being, because that's like, that would take a lot of, like, inner healing for him to be different. And a lot of that wasn't about me, So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he will come back, and maybe I'll have another offer, and then I will have to make a choice. I don't know. I'm very confused about what will happen next, especially because he keeps coming up in my readings as, like, he's coming back. It's going to be wonderful, Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I really appreciate you bringing this up because this is a really big topic right now. There are a lot of reports of feminines being completely turned off by their masculine now. They don't even have feelings for them anymore. And they've totally stepped into their power, and they're just like, screw this, I'm out. So, I mean, that's happening. Some of them, I think some of these people do have false twin flames. But there's a purpose for those too. The false twin flames, the reason that they're even considered like they have the twin flame in the title is because they also have a really telepathic connection. It's like they can read your mind, and you have that incredible kinship, and it's like a best friend, and it's just like super incredible, just like the twin flame. However, it's like they shape and mold you and kind of get you ready, and they inspire you to be better, just like he did. If he is a false twin flame, then look how he inspired you and what you've become as a result, and that's what they're designed to do. But I have also said that twins can, I mean, I've seen incredible miracles happen with masculines. And they can change like night and day, unbelievably. Like, and every time I've said this to you, like every time the twin flames separate, they come back almost like brand new people. You don't even recognize who they are. So I would just keep an open mind and see how he shows up for you. Just, that's why I was bringing up the analogy about a dad. Like you have this adopted father who wants back in your life potentially, but he's been kind of a jerk before. When you first met him, he was pushing you away big time. So it's like, okay, Dad, you want in my life? Like, show me what that's going to look like. You know what? How can you enhance my life? Like you're saying, it's like I'm a healthy person who knows that I'm super beautiful and powerful and awesome, and I am living my life to the fullest, and I got plenty of money, and I don't really need somebody. So how is it that, what can you offer me? And as well as I know, and anybody listening knows, it's really all about the authenticity and the heartfelt connection. That's really all that's like unique about any particular person you're interacting with. That's what makes it special, is that they meet you at that heart level. And heart-to-heart conversations and that authenticity is what makes something special, right? So if they can't, meet you at a level where they're just kind of bringing themselves just as they are, and they also accept their faults, they're not going to be perfect, but they can be like, hey, I kind of feel like an asshole for what I've done, and I'm still not perfect by any means, but I really love you, and I'm admitting it, and I really want to do my best. And I'm really sorry, If they can come to you like that, then, then of course you're going to give them a shot. And they really do have a special connection to you. So I don't know. I would just keep an open mind and see how he shows up. And you're right. I mean, I've done several spreads on him, and it just feels like he is a different person. But I also have felt, and I'm feeling it right now, some trepidation around him feeling like you're going to pigeonhole him or think that he's still the same way. But, what's really funny about him being afraid of that is that he's doing it to you by thinking that, which is twin behavior. We reflect each other. So he's thinking you're going to pigeonhole him, and here he is pigeonholing you, think that you're going to pigeonhole him. And I will tell you that I was concerned about you pigeonholing him from the start, because you were pretty darn ticked off. But man, you are a different woman today, and you are the most loving, compassionate, incredible. Like, I am just so proud of you, and I just wish I could give you a hug. So many people I interact with are so far away from me, and I just want y'all to be like in the same room with me, because I can give you a big giant hug, but like, you are not the same person. And that should also tell you that he's not going to be either. And all this growth that you've gone through, I bet he has too, if he is your twin.
Yeah.
So
I had a major false twin before him, like, year-long relationship, and it was like, as soon as it was really hard to let him go, and I knew he was a false twin. So,
well, there you go. I don't think we have more than one. That's my feeling on it. So I think he. Well, let's just put it this way. Let me ask you this: since we all are mirroring each other like that, would you say that maybe back at that time when you were with him, you may have been kind of a jerk too sometimes?
With
your twin?
Last one? With my twin?
No, the one the one you're calling about. I mean, the one we're talking about.
Yeah. I think I wasn't a jerk. I think I wasn't standing in my power.
So maybe you guys were like kind of like on a teeter-totter where he was completely selfish and you were completely, not doing anything for yourself, giving everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe you guys have balanced out now to where it's going to be more, maybe you guys have established some boundaries and some self-respect and some, self-confidence and some self-esteem that have helped balance you both out. Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yeah.
Leave the door open for miracles.
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying hold out for him. I'm not saying, if you meet somebody else who's super incredible, explore that,
Yeah.
But it's just but just don't pigeonhole. It's hard, but don't, because if I've seen the biggest miracles happen, it's in this kind of relationship. So does that help?
Cool. It helps a lot. Thank you.
Yay, you're welcome. I got some other callers, and unless there's another question you have.
Nope.
All right. Well, you have yourself a beautiful rest of your day.
You too.
All right. Thanks.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Amy. It's Rolando. How are you?
Rolando, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I was actually, just keep nodding my head. I'm like, everything that you're talking about, and even like the past caller. I mean, it's true, about mirroring, and everything. I was just like, it's very true.
Yeah, this a little too well.
A little too well.
I've wanted to wring your twin's neck so many times. And I've not hit it, have I?
No.
I'm like, you better not bring him around me. I swear I'm going to just jump at him.
No, speaking about false twins, I mean, I have been, just like thinking about all my past relationships, and I'm like, maybe those were false twins, in order to bring me, into, soon union with my real twin.
Yeah.
But, so I actually had a question in terms of my relationship with my partner.
Yeah.
So last time that I went to see you, there was some situation where you said that he was going to communicate within 3 days, and I ended up taking the first step because back then I felt like I was a little bit like a control freak. I think that it's like taming down a little bit more.
Yay. Good.
But long story short, basically, I ended up, communicating, and, it didn't go as well. He did, elaborate a little bit more. He told me, that he's just going through a really hard time. He's going through a lot of insecurities. He has a lot of emotional insecurities. But pretty much he just told me that, he just kind of pushed me away. I was listening to some of your podcasts. I think it was like last night, that the more we push the masculine, the more that they're going to push us away.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure how you pick up his energy, what you see him actually feeling, if you see us coming into union anytime soon.
Okay, hang on a minute.
Okay, thank you.
He's feeling a lot of pressure, and I do feel like there's a lot going on around him right now that's kind of, he feels like he's in a better place than he was before, but he definitely feels like he's still kind of putting out some fires. It feels, I could swear he's like moving or something, because I feel like a bunch of boxes being packed or something. If he's not actually moving, I would just say like, he's getting more organized, generally speaking. I mean, I know a lot of feminines are actually going through, so maybe it's both of them are going through some spring cleaning and stuff. As we come closer to union, our energies are merged and we're kind of doing a lot of the same stuff in a different way. Uh-huh. So, maybe he might be physically moving and and you might be like just organizing things like crazy or whatever. Have you been?
I'm sorry?
Have you been like doing some spring cleaning and getting more organized and things like that?
I mean, I'm getting my stuff together, yes. But then there's my question, Amy. You told me that, in October that he was going to make a trip, possibly to Mexico. Do you know if he's going to be making a trip soon?
Yeah. Hang on a minute. Let's see. It looks like, it feels like it was feeling like a very threatening situation before, and it felt like there was a lot of, I hate to say violence, but like hostility or something involved in a situation that he was going to go take care of it in Mexico. But now I don't feel that. I feel like the situation's almost already been taken care of, and it's like now he's going to make sure everything is running smoothly. So I think some positive things have happened for him, and I feel like he is in a better place. But it does feel like he wants to kind of get ready for you. He wants to get ready for you to or wants to feel like he's kind of standing on solid ground on his own 2 feet before he approaches you to talk to you about, like, from that authentic level. Let me just feel out. Let's see, first week, second week. I feel like mid-October.
That is so funny. That is funny. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead, Amy.
No, tell me why it's funny. Did I predict that before or something?
No, that is so funny. Remember I sent you a text message? I'm here just like laughing my butt off because I'm like, remember I sent you a text message just telling you that I kept like getting all these like, I don't want to say, maybe it's my spirit guides, telling me that I got the words mid-October, like late November or something like that.
Does not surprise me. That's so cool. Yeah, and it doesn't, don't expect like a big deal, but I definitely feel like he's going to just apologize for maybe keeping you at arm's distance, and maybe he'll just say, I'd love to connect with you sometime soon and have that talk. Maybe you guys will do something for Halloween or something. That'd be cool, huh?
Uh-huh. Okay, and pretty much my question is, so when he approaches around like mid-October, do you see us coming into union, or do you still see like a mid-separation?
I think it's going to be a little bit of a slower process than you might be hoping for. But just because he just still, I don't know why this sounds so funny, but he still feels so young to me. Like it's like he's not going to have grown up necessarily overnight, but he will, having kind of turned a page or turned a chapter in his life and gotten some really big deals off his back and kind of feeling like his load has been lifted off. I feel like he's going to be in a more confident place and a more secure and sturdy place to go forward with you. I feel like he's going to be less defensive. He's going to be less argumentative. He's not going to play so many games. But there might be, a time or two when you kind of have to do that thing where you have to assert your boundaries and say, this isn't working for me. It doesn't feel healthy right now. So I gotta, close the door for now.
Do you think he's my actual twin?
What was that?
Do you think he's like my actual twin though? Do you pick up on that?
I get a yes. Mm-hmm. I feel like when it comes to like real solid union, like you guys actually being in a relationship and being together and sharing in each other's lives on a regular basis, I think that is very likely in February.
I get that too. I'm sorry. Maybe it's my intuition, that's getting a little bit stronger.
Awesome. See, that's what it's all about too. Part of this journey is that both the feminines and masculines really develop confidence in their intuition. So that's awesome.
So, pretty much, is it true that, as the year progresses, towards the end of the year, because, I've been talking, like numerous psychics, my whole story, that as the year progresses towards the end of the year, the relationship is going to get a little bit sturdier and stronger?
Yeah, it's going to be increasingly better. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think,
in other words, it kind of feels like you might be surprised the progress you will have made in 30 days from now. And then again, in another 30 days, you'll be real surprised how much further you've come. And in another 30 days, it's going to feel like yet another milestone.
Mm-hmm. But
it's going to seem slow, but...
Again?
What?
Do you see us like separating again?
Yeah, a couple times maybe. I think it's going to be because you set a boundary, so good for you.
Okay. So, I mean, why do you think that I keep saying that 1111 and then his name like all over the place?
Because the universe is forcing you together. No,
I mean,
yeah, it's like
I don't really want to hold up the line, Amy, but I mean, so the other night I had this dream. It was on Friday, and I remember it clearly. And with this comes like my last question. So it was on Friday night, and I remember it clearly, and it was almost as if he came into my life, but we were in another state, in another area, and it was like I don't know, he wanted to reconcile basically. And basically, I was just rubbing in his face, in that dream, why he did this and that. But basically, we were like in another state. Do we end up moving in together?
Yeah, you do. Also, I'm so glad that you brought that up because, and I mentioned it earlier in the show, but the feminines are having these crazy dreams, and so many of them are reporting to me that they're having like fix-it type dreams. Like they're going into union already in their dreams, which is a sign that we're, coming together in the 5D. So that's awesome. That's just how close we're getting to union, because it's one of those things that your subconscious mind is working out and preparing you for. And I'm hearing reports of like people are having marriage dreams, or they're having dreams where they're working out their problems. They're discussing what's happened and what, they're just kind of, they're basically having that moment. A lot of them are having that moment where they're just kind of like, hey, after that long separation and kind of having it out. And it's like in a very positive way. It's a productive conversation that I'm hearing reports of. So that's super awesome, and then others are like eloping or marrying, or, everybody's kind of at a different stage, but they're very, very positive dreams.
Right. So, because I mean, in the dream, he was obviously, like playing his little games, and being kind of like, sneaking up on me, just like whatever, like, I don't know. I can't even recall the whole dream, but basically, was that dream like kind of like letting me know that there's going to be like a union soon?
I do think it's a sign that you're getting closer to union, yeah. Because I know that, I've studied a book on dreams and relationships as they pertain to relationships, and you will start having dreams that help you work out issues prior to actually coming together. So it's a way that your subconscious mind says, how would I fit with this person? Would this work or would this not? And so you work out your fears. Some people think, your partner cheats on you in your dream. They think that's an indicator that person could cheat on you. No, it's not necessarily any kind of like premonition. It's about you being afraid that they would cheat. It's you dealing with the fear of that. What?
That is so funny, Amy, because I've actually been seeing other people, and I just remembered that in the dream, he was actually, I don't know. I think I don't know. I think I was like at a party, and he was like taking pictures of me, kind of like spying on me, and he was actually just like rubbing it in my face. He was like, "See, you are cheating on me," and I was like, "I'm not cheating on you. I'm at a party." So it was so weird. I don't know if it's like his whatever, his fear is, or whatever. It's just actually like spying on me. I don't know. You know what I mean? But just to kind of like finalize my questions, is he like working on his addiction to smoking, like cigarettes or whatever, his alcohol addiction?
Yeah, he's working on it all. He feels more mature and grown up to me right now than I've ever felt into for him before. Mm-hmm. He's turned a page. He's definitely turned a corner.
Do you see him leaving that anytime soon, all his addiction?
Sort of. Like 3/4 of the way, there's still stuff kind of hanging on. It can be a gradual process,
Right. And then, when do you see us moving in together, Amy?
I feel like somewhere between March and June of next year.
March and June. Okay. Because, I'm sorry. I was told that we were going to get married. Is that true? And like adopt a child or have a child? Do you see that happening?
I don't feel like it's like a definite thing. The marriage, I don't know. The child thing is more likely. But, you know, it's like when it comes to trying to predict the future, things change. You know, we can switch to different parallel lives and timelines and things. It's really complicated with that stuff. But what I pick up on is a high probability in this moment as things lie right now. Should you guys have a conversation tomorrow, things could change if you guys have some major epiphanies or make some big decisions or whatever, you know. So it's not really a solid concrete thing. But yeah, that's just what I'm feeling right now. I feel like the marriage, if the marriage happens, I feel like it would be a few years down the line.
Okay. And I mean, okay, I promise here's the last question.
And
you know me.
I do.
So, you know, with my whole situation with the whole house fire and whatever, I told him about that because he told me you have to tell him about that because you're going to end up moving in now. And I was like, okay, now, well, you know, like, obviously, like you said, you know, the future pretty much, you know, like changes pretty quickly. After our last conversation, how does he really feel? I mean, because he kind of like, you know, he kind of just like ghosted on me.
About the house fire?
Yeah, because he kind of just like ghosted on me. I mean, I don't even know how he feels. You know, he just like left me. You know, just like he just totally told me. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think there's any kind of animosity towards you or anything. I just feel like he's really focused on himself right now and just really trying to turn over a leaf. He's already turned it over, actually. So
he just didn't really take it into consideration.
I don't think I think you're more worried about the impact it had than he is. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You guys will talk it out.
I mean, so when he comes back, is it going to be like a sincere reconciliation, or is it just going to be like a whatever kind of a thing?
More sincere than he's ever been.
And then from there on out, it keeps growing or whatever.
Yep. You got it.
Oh my God, Amy. Oh, well, thank you so much, Amy. I just get lost in my head and fall in that little rabbit hole.
You know, we all do from time to time. Don't give yourself too hard of a time. It sounds like you've been learning a lot from these podcasts, and I'm really glad that they've been able to help you. So, yay.
Thank you so much, Amy. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime.
All right. You have a good night. Thank you.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. Any updates from you?
No, not really. I didn't think you were going to answer my call because I called kind of late. So I think it was
surprise.
When surprise. Hello.
It's a girl.
It's a girl. It's Suzanne.
Here we are.
Again. But so last Tuesday I just sent him a text and I said, good luck with darts. If you're at darts, and no response. So I said, just text me when you're ready. And so after I get off work, and I told you before, I have to go to the bank to deposit cash because I get paid cash every day.
Mm-hmm.
And he was at the bar again last night, and he was there on Thursday. I don't know if she was there. I'm going to assume that she was not.
Yeah, I don't feel she was there. Well, I think maybe she was there, but she wasn't, like, with him, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. So she was there. If she was there, she wasn't
hanging on him
to see him. She was just there to hang out or whatever.
Well, I'm sure she was curious, but, yeah.
Probably. And then you and I have talked kind of throughout the week, but the later half of the week, like Thursday, Friday, and yesterday, I started feeling, I don't know if I'm getting stuck in my own head or if I'm just what I'm doing. I'm trying to concentrate on my channeling and trying to get that under control. With the ringing in my ears, that's almost constant all the time. But and it's mostly my left one because I have a hard time hearing out of my right ear, just because I had tubes in my ear, both ears twice before I was 1.5 years because my right eardrum ruptured.
Mm-hmm.
So the eustachian tube never really dropped like it was supposed to, and I have scar tissue, which causes inevitable portion of hearing loss. But last night, and you and I talked about this earlier, but I wanted to see if maybe you could give me some more clarification on it. Last night I was doing some channeling and I was writing, and I just started crying. And then I see him standing over my left shoulder, on my left side.
Okay. Ooh. Let's see here. Yeah, and just so the listeners know, I had to let you know that he's like stepped more into his feminine side, and he's feeling more. And what did I say? He's feeling more from his feminine side, and he's getting acclimated to being more emotional and being more on his feeling side before he comes to you.
And
so let me see. Why did you cry? Or
no, I didn't. I'm going to assume that was him and not me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So what's your question?
And then
I can ask him.
Gone.
Okay.
So I don't.
What do you want to know?
Well,
Let me just talk to him. Let me just talk to him.
Okay.
Hang on a second. Hang on.
All right.
Wow, that's beautiful. He just had a really big heart opening, and he was sharing it with you. Huh. I think he's ready to apologize. Awesome. He feels kind of like broken and humbled. And, ooh, wow, I just got a hit that he feels like grateful for your love. Like it hit him hard. I think he's realized how much he's hurt you and how you've been there for him, like steadfast, and just been kind of a pillar of light for him. I think he was very, very moved by that in that moment. I think it kind of cracked him open. I'm kind of seeing his body being ripped open and light, like busting through it. Something major happened. And it's like in a really good way. It feels like he had a shell that just kind of like shattered off of him.
But what made that come about?
He's been going within. He's been taking time. He's kind of been like a hermit. He's been pulled back, and he's been doing a lot of self-reflection. And I think he maybe saw something in a movie or watched something on TV, or like something triggered him that he was watching, and it made him think. It like just made him have an epiphany. Have you ever done that? Or are you just kind of like, oh, geez, I never saw it from that angle, and it kind of hits you like a freight train?
So I was watching. I think it was. What was the show I was watching? I think it was Tool Time or one of those kind of shows where Tim was talking to somebody about, beating a dead horse. So that was kind of a light just kind of came on for me, and I don't think it was necessarily about that, but I think it was basically about continuing to go back into relationships that were no good, and just, like beating a dead horse, what's the point?
Right. Yeah. With people who are emotionally unavailable.
Basically, yeah.
So how did that pertain to your twin, or what did that make you realize about your twin?
it made me realize that I needed to stop and give him his space.
Awesome.
Not that I wasn't giving him his space, because I was. But he kept coming forward to me, and you know, those 4 weeks that we had separation in July, that we didn't talk, and he would send me a text, you know, every Friday night, and I'm just like, I would ignore it, and I would just set my phone off to the side. I'm like, I'm not answering. Just do what you got to do, fix it, and when you fix it and healed it, then you can come talk to me.
Yeah.
That's how I was feeling about it. Just kept putting it. I mean, I wasn't putting him off by any means. I was not. But when you're going to send me a text like that at, you know, 1:30, 2:30 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to answer you. Why would I answer you at 3 o'clock in the morning? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
And you know what kind of texts those are? Those are usually drunk texts, and I don't answer those very well. I'm just like, nope, not doing it. Talk to me when you're sober.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm like, yeah. Oh my gosh. So, well, you totally made me lose what I was going to say. Thanks.
Because that's a good thing. You're welcome.
No. Oh, I was going to say, like, when this show gets uploaded, you're going to be able to hear the beginning. And I talk a lot about that letting go, you know, how important that is. You almost have to get to a point where you just have zero expectation of ever being with them and just kind of like drop the whole thing. I know it's hard because there are all these stupid synchronicities and all of these reminders constantly, and you guys have to see each other all the time. So that's even worse, but it's like the feminine she really has to stop chasing in any way, shape, or form. And he's in order for him to be able to stop running. You know, everybody's just got to stop so that they can just think clearly and decide what to do. They don't have to be together, but, you know, they really have to be clear thinking. And you can't be clear thinking if one of them's running or the other one's chasing or any of that kind of dynamic going on. So there has to be you have to get to a certain point where you're just like, you know what, just F it, you know?
Right.
You got to get there. I've been there like 2-3 times.
I've been there several times.
Yeah. Keep going there. I encourage everybody to keep going there.
Every other day, I'm just like, you want to know what? F it. Just, you know.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, and I'm repeating myself from earlier, I know, but it's like, they're your twin flames, so what? You know, isn't it comforting to know that you have one? Isn't that kind of cool? You got a buddy for life, you know, and isn't it kind of cool? You always have this really neat connection like that. You know, it doesn't have to, everything is what we make it to be or make the story to be of, you know, it's like we make up our own story about what things mean to us. And you can just be like, I mean, it's just like somebody who has a real twin. I mean, not a twin flame, but a real twin. It's like, that's really cool, too. Right. They have this incredible connection. They look exactly alike. They know that they have some of them. And so they're like, hey, I've got this really cool counterpart who is out there living like me. And they're different than me. They're kind of opposite of me. But how cool to know you've got somebody like that you're connected to. But are those guys getting married? No, they're living separate lives, you know, and right. Yeah, we'll be able to feel them sometimes. And yeah, you know, we have love feelings for them or whatever, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you guys have to be together. So it can mean whatever you want it to be. And the two of you have to decide at some point, you know, when we get through the separation period and come into union, that's when it's like, okay, let's put all of our cards out on the table and see what we really want to do about this mess. Let's do a cleanup job. Let's just clean the container really well, and then we'll decide what we want to put in the cooler. You know, what do we really want in there? You know, and just figure it out together or apart, but just like be a team and kind of have each other's backs through life. You know, it can just be like that too. So,
right.
Yeah, but you know, you're doing really well in this situation. You're handling it well.
Sometimes I wonder.
Well, you've obviously really put him through something recently where he just realized, how beautiful, what a beautiful thing you've been to him in his life. And I really feel him being quite broken about it. And it's like a soul cleansing, kind of like a rain kind of cry. Like he really needed to get that out. It's the kind of cry you love to have. The kind of cry that you're just like on the floor, like, wow, I can't take the goodness anymore. Like, and this is like, have you ever had one of those cries that just like, that felt damn good to feel that.
Well, and last night when I did that, I was just like, why? That wasn't me. Why? Why? So that was a little.
Don't spin your wheels. Don't get all mental about every little thing that happens. You know what I mean? Just appreciate it and see it as a really cool phenomenon and move on. I think Muji said one time, he says he just stays in the moment and he has all kinds of crazy things happen. I think he said he talked to a snake once and he just didn't make any big deal of it. Okay, snake here, bus there, whatever. And that's what your life can be like. That's kind of how I live too. But it's like, in terms of they want me to address the ringing in your right ear, I think his higher self has been trying to talk to you. Are you trying to talk to him back? Are you tell me what's going on with that. Because mine comes in the right ear. And it rings and I say, hello. And then I figure out which ear it is.
Nobody's home, but what do you want?
I really like it's pretty funny for me. Like I make fun of it. I'm like, hello. and then I get like
it could be.
Okay, so then I get a name, because when you get really intuitive, you start to ask questions without realizing you're even asking questions. It's kind of like you throw the intention out there. So when I say hello, in my mind, I'm already saying, who is this? It's like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, hello, and then I see the name flash in front of my eyes, and I go, okay, and then I say, yes, what do you want, And then they'll say whatever they say, but I always want to know who it is. Like, usually when I use my intuition, I'm doing readings and stuff, I know my crew, and I know they're all in support of me, and they're unconditionally loving, and they're tremendously incredible. So I don't micromanage what's going on up there, who's telling me what. There's a lot of them. So I just let it be. But if somebody's making like some kind of phone call to my ears, it's like, I want to know who is that. Who am I talking to right now? And so I always ask, if there's ringing in my ear, I always ask, who is this? And then, and then they will tell you. And even if you don't know who they are, then you can look them up on Google. Like, I didn't know who Chamuel was, the angel that found my luggage for me. But I looked him up, and I was like, hey, that's really appropriate. That's so awesome.
Right.
I've
been looking for this. Where is it, right?
Yeah. And the luggage came to me within a few days after he came through and said he was going to help me find it. So that was pretty awesome.
So I'm going to assume with this heart breaking open that he does realize what he feels for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think let me see something for a minute. It's not a lot of the masculines, they've never had this type of love before. They don't. This is like, they're like, what is this? Because it's so much deeper. It's so much deeper than they've ever had before. It's not that superficial, crushy kind of love. And it's not like, yeah, I think you're cool despite your flaws even. It's so much deeper than that because there's so many different lifetimes compiled. You can even have that recognition when you meet somebody. You can be like, holy crap, I just felt like a ton of bricks on my heart. Like, I just immediately love you. But that's like when there's like this past life, really strong, incredible connection. And that's where that comes from, though, is that compilation of all these lifetimes and whatnot. So they feel the weight of that, and it feels different than it's felt with anybody else. So sometimes I think they get real scared of that. it's kind of like, I share my experience that I had with an angel, I think, in my in the talk, in the description of this episode. It'll say Amy's life story or something like that. And I think I talk about this angel that had come into my room, and I was scared of it. It was big, it was powerful, and it was obviously like unconditionally loving. It was like from God. And I was really afraid for a moment. I didn't know if I should run or stand my ground or fight or like, I didn't know what to do. So I think it's like that for them. And I did talk to a masculine about this recently over the weekend, and I said, what happens is the masculine runs because it's such a huge feeling. It's like, whoa. And he goes, yeah, I get that. And I was, well, the fact that you get that, then you're definitely the masculine, because, the feminines are like, the minute they identified it as love, they might be a little bit like, whoa, but then they're like, wow, this is love, and they run at it. And the men are like, oh my gosh, and then they want to run and hide. But, and we're made that way. But once they realize, once they get it, once they see that this is something that could change their lives forever for the better. Like, this is something that'll be like nothing else they've ever experienced. This could be like happily ever after. I mean, not saying it'll be perfect, but it's somebody who will get you, somebody who will love you so much. And it's like the thing that you've always been envious that other people had, if they did find their soulmate or their twin. So it's like once they realize that, then they get it, and they're like, this is love, but it's not just love, it's love. It's like it's huge. So I think he's to make a very long explanation shorter, he does. He knows. It's hit him, and he realizes the weight of it, yeah.
So with that being said, where do you see this next week going?
Okay, hang on. It feels like it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool because it feels like he's actually feeling kind of like liberated and free and happy and giddy and playful. And it feels like he feels really curious about how he can get back in with you. So it's really cute. It's really, really cute energy. I think he's going to flirt with you. I think when you guys go to play darts or whatever next, I think, I predicted this before too. I said that the next time you guys talk, he's going to be like kidding around and stuff. That's totally it. I'm feeling that same vibe. And so, yeah, play back. Have fun. Don't try. I know some feminines are like so angry at what's happened and what's gone down that they're just like hands on their hips, And I advise you guys don't do that as much as you want to. I mean, do you want the love or not? And I'm not just saying that like be all desperate. Do you want the love? It's not like that. I'm saying there's no reason to have your defenses up. Everybody's here to learn a lesson, and everyone's getting something out of it, and there's valuable stuff in it. So see the value in what's happened. You have a good, candid conversation, but let there be laughter and play first. Just have a good light time and a good light laugh, and then you can get into the more serious conversations after that. But still, it's like there's, let your guard down, because it's all about you ultimately in your own personal growth. So nobody's done anything like purposely to be, to deliberately hurt you. And half the time it's like something the universe is kind of pushing you to do anyway. And it's just like, maybe he didn't want to flirt with that girl, but he just couldn't help it. It's like, I didn't, and a part of him was just so like resorted back to when he was a little kid, and he was just wanting to get back at you so bad, and he wanted to play the stupid thing. But that's where you've got to have your good, healthy boundaries, and you respond the way that you feel is healthiest for the situation. And the way that you responded was to just kind of put a cold shoulder on it and just be like, whatever, and kind of walk away, but not with attitude. But you were just like, I'm out. And when you stepped back out of the situation, he was left sitting there looking at himself and felt kind of foolish. So that's right. It's not about like having to judge them or lecture them or do any of that. It's more It's more like, well, I'm not liking this, so I'm just going to kind of step away. So, yeah.
And I think it was like the second or third time I had called into the show. This was like, I don't know, early summer, and you had said something was going to happen in September.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what you saw, or what you felt?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I get,
no, you're
man.
Fine.
You wouldn't believe how many readings I do in a week. I don't remember. All right.
No, that's fine. I get it. I totally get it. All right. Cool. Well,
maybe. I just got to guess. See, even with a bad memory, you can still have the spirits give you the answers.
Because you had said something to the fact that something big in September was going to happen to make him realize or think about making me.
Yes. Yes. They said yes.
All right.
This is it. You got it. Awesome. Congrats. That's pretty awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Are we good?
Okay. We're good.
All right. I'm sure we'll be texting.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. I'm here for you whenever you need me.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and that pertains to all of you listening.
Right.
If you guys do ever want a private session, all you got to do is go to amysatori.com, hit the services, hit book now, and you get all the drop-down menu of all the prices and everything. So there's a lot of things I have to offer, including light language blessings, which that just reminds me I should do one for you guys today. So, all right, I'm going to mute you, and I have one more thing to say. Let's see here. I made a little... Okay, words of wisdom this week. If someone attacks you, the first thing you should say to yourself and them is, and you guys aren't going to like this necessarily, but you're right. Try to see how what they're saying is true. Agree with them. This will loosen the grip of your ego. When you get engaged in who's right or who's wrong or who's accurate, you're fueling your ego and avoiding the very thing you're meant to see in the first place. When you see everything as a mirror and as a gift, you see that nothing ever goes wrong and no one else's opinion of you matters because they're only projecting their stuff on you anyway. In this way, you can liberate yourself and gain a sense of humor. Try reading The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer for more on that. Okay, so let me just feel into any kind of a message the Spirit wants to give us for those who are listening at this moment. Okay, you guys are probably going to see a lot more rainbows lately. They want you guys to know. This sounds so funny. So, I don't know. I don't mean to make fun of you guys. Sorry. No, seriously though, they're like saying you guys are the chosen ones. They're being kind of serious about it, and I'm like being a goofball, but they're really like, when you see rainbows, know that you are a chosen one. Know that you are blessed. Know that you are probably some kind of an earth angel or a star seed or something special, and know that you are being smiled upon. And, take the numbers and synchronicities and the neat things that happen to you as little winks from God, letting you know that, you're on the right path. You're doing a great job. You're making a difference in other people's lives. You're choosing integrity. You're choosing authenticity. You're choosing to walk a path of peace. It's really beautiful, and they're really proud of you guys. And, yeah, it started off in the name of love, but ultimately then there becomes this like self-empowerment and liberation within us, and we're doing it for us, and we're doing it for those around us, those that we love. We're establishing boundaries. We're getting healthy relationships going. We're improving our connection with God. We are staying in the moment. We are improving our intuitions. There are some really, really beautiful things happening as a result of having found out that you're a twin flame. It all started there, and now it's blossoming into something super beautiful. And I see like this big meadow full of gorgeous, colorful flowers, and nothing but a bright future ahead for everyone who's listening right now. So keep going. Keep empowering yourself. Keep inspiring yourself. Don't ever let something that somebody says or that somebody does or that any kind of news that you find out, don't ever let that get you down. Develop the tools that you need or whatever it is that you need to kind of get back up on your feet again and become your own best friend. Be a better best friend for you than anybody could ever possibly be. And learn to go within. I have an excellent, excellent friend. I could say my best friend at the moment. And one of the things I really love about her is when I go to her at a moment when I really, really need her, it's really funny, but she says, Amy, go do a council meeting. She said, that's always so much better than anything I can ever tell you. And she's right. And I forget. And we just get conditioned through life to go to our friends for advice. But the information that I get in those council meetings and then I end up sharing with her, she's like, holy crap. Like, that was unfriggin' believable. And then we get chills and goosebumps from the information that comes through. So be empowered. Do it yourself. Go within. Find out the answers. Do council meetings. If you don't know what the council meetings are, then I don't know. Then listen to another episode that has that in it. I don't know. This episode's already been long enough, but basically just go inside. Go inside and listen. Learn how to develop and listen to your intuition. I will go into the council meeting again in another show, I promise. Maybe the next one. But yeah, so what else do they want to say? Yeah, they're showing me stars, and that has personal relevance, but yeah, the star card in the tarot is about a bright future and hope in a bright future and knowing that bright future is coming, and it's like your wish is granted. Whatever it is that you're wishing and hoping for right now, and the reason that you listen to this podcast, this is reassurance and assurance that your wishes are coming true. So believe it and know it within your core, and then go about just being happy. Okay, so let's see what else. I'm seeing Red Cross. I don't know why I'm seeing a Red Cross. It just makes me think of like helping people, maybe being serving. Get involved in volunteering. Get involved in giving. Help those in need. Help those around you. A lot of people are suffering and they don't express it. A lot of people could be on the verge of suicide and you don't know. So reach out to people. Ask how they're doing. And don't just be like, hey, how you doing? And don't look them in the face, stop them. Grab their shoulders. How are you doing? Really, I do care. Tell me. Oh, you wouldn't want to be bothered. Yeah, I do want to be bothered. Tell me. Force their hand. Look them in the eyes and show them that you care. You might just save their life. What else? Something about like choppy waters on an ocean. I think what they're saying is no matter how the ocean looks choppy on the surface, anybody who's been into boating like I have, it's like there's choppy water, but it doesn't go very deep. No matter what's going on the surface, underneath is like so peaceful and beautiful and calm and quiet and serene. So if you cannot get too caught up in the drama of what's going on in the circumstances around you, and you can kind of get in the center of the storm and go deep into your ocean, go deep into your feelings and allow yourself to kind of be in that vulnerable, peaceful, quiet state and just kind of trust that the universe has your back, then you'll sail through the situation much smoother and easier, and you'll create less karmic interactions with people that will cause even more confusion and more chaos. You don't want to contribute to that unless you're contributing in a positive way. So take care of yourself, take care of your feelings, honor your feelings, and go deep. And, never mind the choppy waters on the surface, because they'll be calm again in no time. I don't know, I get something about how some of you are actually going to be in the public eye. I don't, it could be, you're going to become a celebrity if you've been wondering, if you've been trying to become an actor or actress. Maybe some of you feel really passionate about a certain cause. You're going to end up at a microphone talking to lots of people, inspiring people, leading groups, whatever it means for you. If you've been thinking about being in the public eye somehow, this is encouragement to do that, and this is your time to go after it, and you're going to be successful in it. All right, so anything else, you guys? No. Well, okay. They're showing me a star, but we already addressed the star, so maybe I missed something. What about the star, guys? I think they're just giving you the gold star. You guys are doing a great job. Everybody listening to this show right now is doing an exceptional job, and they just want you to know that you're loved and that, to keep the good work going. All right, so here is a light language blessing for everyone. So just relax, drop your shoulders, and just, for those of you who don't know about this or haven't heard it, it's going to sound a little funny, but just feel into your body and see how it feels and just take it in. It's just a blessing. It's a live energy that's being channeled, and it will just help even create miracles in your life. It'll help if you're not getting enough sleep, or if you're having a health issue or anything that's going on like that. It's going to actively be helping you when you hear this, and it'll stick with you too. Okay. Asha omo kon se te insa alakarora ai. Hapaponsa laboro na day in the case. Sasa osho pombo ai kilaraman na ai. Aladonsa teke aishapun tapalepidina tate kapon. Alaha na apo o ashasesa anapo anatekai. Alapurso sonta tetai. Alakanta po mala indadita. Ashakipa sonopolai. Po mbotsai ndatai kalaporono oi. That was so cool, you guys. Like, I saw end credits rolling, and you know how they show the humorous moments at the end, all the, like, what are they called, outtakes? Yeah, that's what I saw, and I saw like the crew celebrating the movie's done. This is union time, you guys. This is so beautiful, and I hope if you're listening to this and you go into union after this talk, please come back on the show and tell me, and inspire everybody who's listening, because that's awesome. And congratulations for all of you who are coming into union. And if you don't come into union yet, don't be jealous. It just means you're that much closer. And if it's not union with your twin flame, then it could be with someone else. Whatever is happening for you, this is definitely a beautiful time for people to come together and get on the same page and get honest and form partnerships and form peace within their own hearts and their own lives. So, yay! All right, thank you. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we'll talk to you next time on The Satori Show.